In today's video, we're going to be taking this 19-teens era Cushman Model X and making it a running engine that also is a grill. I hope you guys enjoy, and yes, this is a bit shameful. My friend David and I picked this engine up last year at a show. It was stuck with a giant breakout in the hopper, as you can see, and we decided jokingly to throw a campfire in it and see if we could have it run with it. The short answer was yes, and then it devolved into us jokingly saying we want to turn it into a grill, and here we are. Alright, a little rundown on the plans I want to do to this engine. This engine has the giant chunk out of the side of it right here. I want to make that into a door, so I've got a hinge right here. We're going to make that hinge open and hinge close, so you have like a stove door on the side of it. That's one thing I want to do to this. One of the next things I want to do to it is I want to mill this top flat, and I want to mill grill slots into it so we can cook on it. And then I also need to somehow cut some kind of vent in here for the fire to get air. And I haven't quite decided how I'm going to do that yet, but I'm thinking I'm going to just make like a circle with a couple holes in it and a disc to turn, kind of like on a charcoal grill. That's pretty much the only things I need to do to this to get it to function like I want. I'm going to hop right into it. I think the first thing I want to do is try and get this thing milled flat and get the grill marks into it. Then we'll work on this door and see how the door goes. I'm going to take it over to the mill and try and get it mounted in the mill, and we'll work from there. This is one of those projects you do where every step of the way you have to stop for a couple seconds, think to yourself, is this a good idea? Giggle a little bit and say no, and then continue. So I was quite lucky. This engine fits in my mill without having to take the block apart. I was a little worried with this process that I had to take this whole cylinder jug off to get it to fit in my mill, but it very obviously is fitting, and I still have a good couple inches of clearance here, so that's pretty nice. I'm going to put a couple toe clamps on this thing and we'll get to milling away at it. I'm hoping we can plane this down pretty easy. I'm not sure how flat it's actually going to be. I'm going to just blindly mill at it and hope for the best. Well, let's see how bad it chatters or anything like that, I suppose. Alright, I got it planed flat. I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. I wanted to plane it flat mostly for the fact I wasn't sure what stuff was in the paint and or the surface layer of the cast iron. So by planing it off, I know it's just bare cast iron on the inside, so there's less likelihood of me getting any kind of toxins out of it. I'm not saying it's going to be healthy by any means, but it's a lot safer now that I've milled it than before I milled it, hopefully. Alright, so I'm going to go put it in a 1/4-inch end mill and start milling out the grill slots. Yeah, I definitely ain't gonna lie, that does kind of hurt to do that. We've got a grill. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that hurt quite a bit. So now that I got my grill done on top, it's time to work on this side door that's broken out of this thing. The way I think I'm gonna approach getting it is I want to put this hinge up in here like so, and then I'm gonna have to cut a notch out of this little cover here for that hinge to nest into. That way I can bolt it up like this and it'll pivot up and down just like you'd want a door to. And it should work pretty good, hopefully. So I'm gonna go grind the notch out, I'm gonna get some holes drilled, and we'll see how that mounts up. So I put the hinge in, put a little notch in it so it would fit a little better. It does show up a little bit. I was kind of hoping it would hide it, but oh well. No big deal. This isn't like this is some fancy job or anything. This is turning an engine into a grill. There's the hinge in there. I dug through the scrap and found this was the handle off the wiper for a Model T. That's what I reused to use as a door handle so you don't burn yourself. Just like that, I've got a door. So currently the drain for the hopper's right here, which will give me some airflow, but I don't think that's quite enough for what I need to do. So I'm gonna drill one hole here with some holes around it and then put a baffle on here I can rotate. That way I can turn it and adjust my airflow. Basically like a normal charcoal grill air baffle. Alright, so there's two different things I want to tackle next. The first one is, when this engine was running at the show last year with the fire in it, the oiler sits right about here originally, and it would get really hot from the fire coming up through this hopper lid, and it would drip a lot faster when the oil's hotter because the oil gets thinner when it's hotter, so it wouldn't keep oil regulation very well, and it would just start dumping oil into it. So what I'd like to do is route the oiler through the side of the hopper here, like right over in this area, and put an elbow in it so I can route it right here through the hopper. And what that's going to gain me is it'll be out of the way from the heat, so it'll regulate oil a little better, as well as I can weld some rods in here and make this more grill real estate. Because currently at the moment you'd only be able to put like one hamburger and a hot dog on this, and that ain't very much grilling. Alright, here's the first pipe. I can now line up where my hole's going to go to mount the other pipe. I think it'll work pretty good that way, because then I can cover all this up like I'm saying, and it'll work pretty good. Say that's one of the dumbest things I've ever created in my life. But I also have to say that steak is pretty good. Wow, I'm a terrible, terrible engine collector, David. I feel like I should be shunned.
I could go back to 11.
Oh, it's going back to Albany, 100%. Who's gonna get mad first, I wonder? If we take it first, somebody's gonna get